The movie begins with Daryl Witherspoon, a young economics student at Stratford University, giving a tour to the new students at Stratford University. Daryl is a broke student and works as a mail delivery guy, tour guide, and food service guy at the university to earn some cash to help his mother and siblings. He also donates blood and sperm to earn some money. Daryl has a best friend, Tim Lawflower, who gets a hockey scholarship and encourages Daryl to keep up. Daryl enters a competition, where the winner gets a high-paying Wall Street job. His nemesis Scott Thorpe, who has more advantages as he comes from a rich family, also enters the competition. Daryl's hopes begin to go down. One requirement to get the Wall Street job is to have great athletic record, and later Daryl participates in a hockey match as a goalie. His performance is horrible and he loses more hope to get the job. His landlord is also putting pressure on him to pay his rents. He sees a post about a high-paying experiment to test a drug that enhances the five senses. He takes on the experiment while the others leave upon hearing about its side effects. In the evening, during a little school party, Daryl meets Janice for the second time and they formally introduce themselves to each other. That same evening, Scott discourages Daryl. He returns home and takes the drug for the first time. The next day, during an important exam, Daryl's five senses becomes enhanced and he experiences some side effects. Later he goes to the experiment's supervisor, Dr. Thomas Wheaton, who calms down Daryl. Daryl gives up on the hockey game and tells Tim he was not called to be part of the 5 finalists who will compete to get the Wall Street job. Tim comforts him and Daryl masters his enhanced senses. During a dinner hosted by Stratford University to congratulate the 5 finalists, Daryl, who is a waiter, uses his enhanced senses and impresses the competition supervisor, Mr. Tyson, who adds Daryl as the 6th finalist. The next day, a happy Daryl takes more drugs from Dr. Thomas, who advises Daryl not to take an overdose of the drugs. Daryl and Janice begin hanging out and he uses his power during a hockey game to make his team win and impresses everyone. Mr. Tyson invites Daryl and the other 5 finalists to a basketball game where they will get the chance to meet some top executives. Daryl continues to donate sperms for cash and begins dating Janice and even takes her to meet his family. Daryl gives his mother some cash and promises her to make things better when he gets the job. One night, Daryl takes an extra dose and experiences side effects. He meets Dr. Thomas Wheaton, who tells Daryl only 4 of his senses will work at a time until the drug leaves his body. During the basketball game, Daryl acts very clumsy, which makes the top executives to laugh instead. As Daryl struggles, Tim thinks that his friend is on heroin and gets worried about him. Daryl's luck then starts going down the drain as he loses the hockey game because his sense of sight is lost. He also mistakenly confesses love to his girlfriend's father, who he thinks is his girlfriend, as his sense of sight is lost. Her father turns out to be Mr. Tyson. Janice also ends her relationship with him after catching Daryl, who lost his sight, with another girl. Daryl asks his friend Tim to help him study for the next day's interview. At that exact moment, Scott studies for the test with the aid of his rich father's employees. Scott is shown to answer a question correctly, but he does not know the reason behind it. He ignores the question. The next day, Daryl loses his sight again and his suit gets stolen. He puts on a new funny suit and the drugs leaves his system, making him to gain his 5 senses. During the interview, it comes down to Daryl and Scott. Scott is asked the same question he was asked last night. He answers it correctly, but when asked the reason, he does not know. Daryl steps in, gives the correct reason and scores the position of junior analyst at Smythe Bates. But in his speech, he confesses that he cheated by taking an experimental drug. A meeting is called to decide his fate and Mr. Tyson tells him that he himself started out in the mailroom and Daryl should too. If he serves 1 year duty in the mailroom, he will score the position of junior analyst. 1 year later, Daryl moves his mom to a better apartment and takes the job at Smythe Bates as junior analyst. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also check out my other videos and my shorts where I have recapped movies for you in less than a minute. See you in the next video.